now. Apparently it's taken a while, but that's okay. We can go ahead. So Misty, how you been? You're looking good, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. I've
Yes.
been good. I've been navigating this crazy world of COVID-19 and stay-at-home orders. And yeah, this is
Yeah.
wild, but
Yeah.
life is
And
good.
you are in Texas, right? You're in San Antonio, or where are you?
I live halfway between Austin and San Marcos, but our team, we're in Texas. So we cover Austin, San Antonio, Houston, and everywhere in between.
Everywhere, yeah. And looking at this situation, I've known you for a while, and I know you have a good team and good brokers running
Yeah.
there with, and you guys work remotely right now, right? You basically, not remotely, virtually.
Virtually. Virtual is the name of the game right now.
That's
Yeah.
the new normal, right?
It is the absolute new normal.
So tell me how I've always been curious how you do it, because I saw your video you recently shared that, and you told that this is what you've been doing it, and this is how you continue doing it, and you're doing well, obviously. So how does it work with clients? How do you guys show homes? A lot of agents say, how do we meet people? How do we go to the listing?
Yeah.
You know?
So virtual is not new to us, which thankfully we've already kind of had a virtual team.
Mm-hmm.
So we did have a little bit of a leg up there, but I will tell you, it is whether you have been virtual previously, and that can mean, just doing video walkthroughs, in a house, whether you've done that before or you haven't done it, we're in a whole new realm of what it looks like to do real estate. So with that said, we quickly shifted when we knew that the stay-at-home order was coming. We quickly shifted. We knew that safety was going to be a big part of this. So we luckily had some connections with people that are in the, like with the CDC and different places monitoring. So we quickly got out a checklist of safety precautions on how to show a house. So I will say first and foremost, whether you're out there, whether you're essential or you're not essential, make sure you're being safe. Like none of this is at the expense of safety first.
Of course, yeah.
But, and so a lot of people, it's controversial, right? Because people are like, why are, what are you doing? Why are you out there?
It's hard for people to even embrace this. Some people don't understand it fully. Some people just, in denial. I mean, bottom line, some people understand it, some don't. But it's hard to embrace this new reality. And for a lot of real estate agents, this is something nobody ever experienced it before. So you gotta adopt. It looks like that's what you did. So
yeah. So, that's just it. I believe this is the new norm of doing real estate. So it's time to adopt it and figure it out. It's not normal from where we were 6 weeks ago. All of this is very, very different.
Mm-hmm.
But to those that are listening, that are thinking, oh my gosh, I'm waiting for things to get back to normal. They're not going to go back.
That's what I heard people saying. Hey, you know what? I'm just going to wait it out for a couple of weeks or a month, and maybe it'll go back to normal. But in reality, is it going to go back to normal, or it's going to be the way it is most of the time? The real estate is actually done. Maybe this is going to be our new normal. Who knows? So
this is the new normal, and think about it. People are realizing that they can buy and sell houses without the inconvenience of having people have to come through their home. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to put their house on the market and have 37 people or more through their house. So the reality is, now that there's a new shift in how real estate is being done, this is the new norm. This is very much how it's going to be done. And so, I want to really dig into what it looks like and how you can do it.
What does it look like? A lot of people just here to, in this webinar want to see, what is she actually doing?
I'm not doing, well, we're doing some very, very cool things, but I want to make it very, very, so that anybody, novice or not, can really start to adopt this. Here's the reality. If you've got a phone, if you've got technology, which you have to have as an agent, it really looks like what we're doing right now. If I'm in a listing appointment today, instead of sitting in front of a seller, I'm now sitting on Zoom with them, and we're having a conversation very much like we're doing right now. It's just the new norm of how to build that
For a lot
rapport
of
with them.
yeah, and for a lot of people, it's hard to even imagine having non actual meeting, but having a virtual meeting with people. You know, me and you, we've been doing it for a while by conducting business online, but a lot of people just basically a handshake kind of attitude people,
Yeah.
where that's the way to do business, and it's hard for people to even grasp this. So how do you do it? Just besides having the conversation on Zoom, how do you actually do listing presentation for a while?
You know,
For example,
honestly,
yeah.
the very first part is to educate the consumer on the new way of doing real estate. Yes, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Yes, there's crazy stuff going on, but the reality is the new way of doing real estate, here it is. Look at if you're not educated on your market stats, first look at your stats. Homes are still selling. Real estate is not going to stop because people are locked in their homes. People still have to make moves. People are still getting a divorce. They still have court orders where they have to sell their houses. People are still, life is still happening and people still have to make a move. So start by looking at your market stats. Get your mindset in the right place, because if you can really understand that real estate is still happening, then we as a community of agents really don't have any choice but to adopt that. We better shift and change really, really fast so that we can stay ahead of the curve instead of getting lost behind it.
Correct. And so the listing presentation is done on Zoom, right? How do you evaluate the house, what it's worth? Let's say it's a listing and you're not there in front. You're not walking the house. You're not smelling the house. How do you actually evaluate what it's going to be worth?
I've always said I don't need to see a house in person to list it. I've always had that mentality. And here's the truth. We can take our best. These days, what we're doing is we're having a seller use their cell phone and either send us pictures if they're not technology comfortable. If they're comfortable, it's as easy as a FaceTime. Walk me around your house and show me. But the reality is I'm just really looking for high-level cosmetics. A home is just a box in an area with some comps. And unless it's super duper custom and there's features that we really do need to put an eye on, the reality is we don't necessarily need to see the home in person. Yes, smells and things like that do make a big difference. But here's the reality. We're going to get, feedback from people that are seeing it anyways. And we can explain to the seller, we may have to adjust based on market conditions and what's going on, but here's a price or a range that we should start in, and just kind of, work from it that way. We don't have the luxury right now of being able to go out and see every home, but we also don't have the luxury of not helping people and not doing real estate. So you just gotta be able to adjust.
So how do people actually, the sellers, react? I mean, right now we have people who are trying to prospect and call for sale by owners or expired. How would you prospect to these folks and put them at ease that that can be done safely and
I think it depends, number one, on their motivation. We talk a lot about this on our team, but don't press people to sell right now that don't have to sell. Like, is it the right time today if they're like, well, we're kind of okay and it's just a time where you have to be a little bit more compassionate than we were previously. So we're really prospecting for those people that need to make a move. And if there's a need, then I can solve the problem that we have, which is we're in the middle of a pandemic. I can solve it by doing this 99% virtually. But I think there's a really fine line between pushing somebody in the middle of a pandemic and serving somebody and truly coming from a place to help them. So I'm telling my team, we're usually a little bit more bold on our expired calls. We're usually a little more bold when we're talking to for sale by owners. Right now, we're in the relationship building business. We're there to help people, and we are seeking at a very high level those that need to make a move now.
So this is a lot of it is basically the mindset thing, and obviously that's the most important thing to overcome for a lot of agents. That's what needs to happen, because I personally think a lot of agents make this mental block in their head, and that doesn't allow them, opportunity. It basically stops them from opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah.
It is a lot of mindset right now, you guys. I'm not going to sit here and say that I have it all figured out, because I don't. If I let my mind quiet for too long, it is a little bit, it's scary. Like, what's going on with our nation? What's going to happen?
Your head is a scary place to be.
It is a very scary place to be.
Yeah.
Don't go there.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
don't go there. Right now, I find, happiness in helping people. So I just put myself out there and help others at a high level, and business keeps happening. In which case, I'm just going to keep doing that until it shifts or change, and something different presents itself.
You see that your team also works with buyers, right? How do you guys work with buyers? Like, let's say somebody wants to go look at houses, or do you show them virtual? How does that work? Walk me through how it works. Yeah.
We do both. So we do have a protocol where if there's steps in the process where we have to get, if you're with a listing, you have to get in and photograph the house. An inspector has to get in there. With a buyer, we can do 99% of it, online virtually. But the reality is, some buyers want to get into houses.
Yeah,
so
understandably.
You've got two elements. One is trying to educate the buyer that we really can do this virtually. I really can walk you through the house with my phone, or with, this 360 tour. I can walk you through the house, and you can feel like you're seeing it in person. Not everybody wants to do that. So if you have to get into the house, the next obstacle is getting past the seller, right? Because sellers right now don't want anybody in their home. But the reality is if you're a broker, if you're, team lead, whoever you're working with, as long as they've got a safety protocol in place, we're handling those objections pretty easily.
Basically, gloves, masks, social distancing, booties.
Just be cautious, wipe every surface down. Don't put yourself in danger. Don't put anybody else in danger. And just, tell the sellers, a lot of people are home right now. We make it very, very clear. We don't want anybody in the house. For your safety, we're going to wipe everything down. We're going to wear booties. We're going to wear masks. We've got gloves. We're sanitizing everything. But for your safety, even if it's just sitting in your car for 20 minutes, for your safety, please just step outside.
And man, you don't have to be in the same car with your buyer, obviously. Nobody does. They follow you.
I haven't put a buyer in my car in, I don't even know how long. I'll go as far as 10 years. It's been a long time.
Yeah, nobody does that anymore, Yeah. So how do you see buyers? Are the buyers more reluctant right now to look at a home? So they're still out there looking? I know in Texas, prices don't really change that much. They don't, because there's a lot of land, but.
We've had a lot of homes go pending. There were more homes pending since the shelter in order than there were at the beginning of March. So our stats are going up. So, what are we hearing from buyers? We're definitely hearing objections. We want to wait till this is over. I'm not sure if my job is going to be safe, so I don't want to make a decision now. So there's a lot more. I hate to even call them objections, because they're not objections. They're real life situations. I don't know if I'm going to have a job tomorrow. I may not be able to buy. But like anything in real estate, when you're prospecting, you just have to keep going until you find the one that needs to make a move right now. I need to move for this reason. I've got to do it now. I've got to, I've got a pre-qual that's only good for the next 20 days, whatever it is. Find those people and then go serve them at the highest level.
So a lot of agents right now, as we already discussed, they're putting stop to their activity. I had somebody at my brokerage saying, "Hey, I just want to cancel my license for a while, put it inactive, and wait it out." Okay, somebody said I'm just gonna, retire, which is okay. Some say I am just waiting it out. Some cutting expenses. What expenses would you recommend an agent to cut or not to cut
You
in
know,
that situation like this? you
we
know?
went down to the bare minimum. As soon as we saw this coming, luckily I had brought on some really smart people in my company, and that we were already kind of looking at expenses to really cut those, but we did. We went down to the bare minimums. We kept only the lead sources that had an ROI.
Hmm.
We're our agents honestly are, we don't have anybody that is, leaving the business at this time. We are, talking about cutting expenses with them, cutting your personal expenses. Look at what you spend monthly personally. Go bare bones on that. And then, same thing with your business. So what things should you be cutting? Things that you're not using. I mean, I don't know how many times I swear I cut everything out, but there's that $30 charge that, it's been hitting for 12 months, but I don't realize it. Think about that, what that adds up to over a year. So
Yeah.
just go through everything and start cutting expenses. Don't cut things that are bringing in business. You got to think, positive ROI.
Cut the
Is
fat,
this,
not the muscle. Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
time to definitely go through everything with a fine tooth comb and just be, I mean, we should be doing that anyways as business owners. If you're a real estate agent, you're a business owner.
Of
So
course.
we should be doing that anyways on a regular basis. But, I'm guilty. I'm guilty of not, leaving a little bit there that I forgot about or not going through it monthly. So, but now's a great time. Get in there and just
Yeah.
cut the things you're not
Exactly.
using.
Exactly. And again, evaluate carefully because as you said, it's important not to cut things that bring you ROI, that bring you business. You know, cut the fat, not the muscle, because you need the muscle to keep moving. And guys, if you have any questions, I know a lot of you are listening right now and watching the webinar. Why don't you just type up your questions and we'll try to answer them here. Another aspect, what do you see? I mean, I don't know what's in Texas as far as the lending goes. Your price point is not as we here. We're in Seattle. Like right now, jumbo loans being stopped, and
Yeah.
jumbo loans is anywhere above 740,000. That's a jumbo
Yeah.
loan here, and that's a lot
Yeah.
of our. And your price point is lower, so you're still within the conforming loan limits probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing we've seen so far is the requirements. I mean, it's definitely harder today than it
Uh,
was. You're right. Our price point, our jumbo loans aren't a big thing that's on the table for us. But, there's a lot of rumors of a lot of stuff that's changing on that side of things. I think it's a little green for us where we're at to know what it's truly going to be. But yeah, I mean, that's going to play a big part in it. But, here's the reality, it's the unknown. And we can
yeah,
either stay frozen in the unknown or assuming that things are going to get so much worse. So we just freeze, or we can keep going out there. There are people, no matter what the economy brings, no matter what the next obstacle that we face is, there's still people out there that need our help.
of
And if you
course.
just lead with that, there's business out there
Of
instead
course.
of,
Yes. Absolutely. Looks like we have a question from Diane. How would you conduct a virtual open house? Do you do
yeah.
those?
I do, and that is such a great question. So you can do it on Zoom. You guys, Zoom is the answer to so many different things. So literally, what
Their
maybe even,
stock price right now is probably through the
oh
roof.
my gosh. Of course, they are having issues because I literally
Yeah.
jumped into the middle of somebody else's
Of course they
video when
do.
I
Yeah.
clicked. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was crazy. So they're having some issues, but we do them a couple of different ways. So we've partnered with a company that does 360 tours for
Uh-huh.
us. And so we can do them through that software, but I'll just in layman's terms, you guys can get on Zoom, do a live Zoom, either use the 360 tour that you already have, or if you have to go in person to like a vacant house, we still go out to vacant houses. We'll jump on Zoom. We'll use our iPhone, and we'll just walk everybody around and do live question answering. And I'll tell you what, I am seeing that more people are interacting and actually giving us their information on virtual open houses than they ever did in person. So, you know, get
Well, yeah,
creative.
everybody's sitting home right now, and frankly, if you if you promote your open house on Facebook, I think people in the neighborhood will see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a
Yeah.
question from Nicole. Nicole is asking, you mentioned to keep leads with best ROI. Which lead source would you recommend? Lead sources that work well for you.
Yeah, I think that I don't know that I would go buy a new lead source right now, because here's the reality. The new best lead source that you can have is relationships. So if you don't, I mean, in my opinion, and at least how I'm coaching our agents, is don't go buy a new lead source right now.
I'll go
But
buy a new zip code.
don't go throw all your money into realtor.com. Not that not that it's not something that I'm an advocate for in normal circumstances, but unless you've got a lot of extra money and you're willing to kind of, gamble and see if it works, then I wouldn't go do it, because again, it's about conserving money. But if you've had it and you have a positive ROI, then keep it, reevaluate how it looks now during the pandemic. But those are the ones that I'd keep, the ones that I've already had experience with, that I'm having good ROI with.
What do you think of Facebook leads?
Yeah,
you do those, right? You do those, right?
We have launched a lot of new stuff with Facebook, and I'll tell you, it is the new relationship. Right now, we don't have the luxury of getting out and getting in front of people. So yeah, Facebook leads right now are really good, but not capturing leads, going after the relationship and really branding yourself so you're in front of people so that they see you and they're starting to get to know you through videos that you're posting, content that you're sharing, helpful information that's out there that can help them.
So a lot of agents, like before this whole pandemic happened, everybody was scared that we're going to be obsolete. We're going to be replaced by the technology. We're going to be replaced with all the disruptors. And some people say, well, right now, everything's done through technology. So real estate agents going to become not necessary. But I think this is the time when real estate agents are extremely necessary. Because look at the disruptors, what's going on with them, and what this is a relationship business, especially during this shady time that we got going on.
I would agree 100%. You guys, we can all live in fear. We can all sit back and just freeze and expect that that's going to happen. And if 100% of us do that, guess what's going to happen? Then your biggest fear is going to become your reality. But here's the truth. That's not true today. In which case, live your reality today and start to build your future. Shift, adjust, get comfortable getting on video. This is your new norm.
It is a new normal. And
this is our new norm. I mean, I better get real used to being on video, because I don't have the luxury anymore. I've been told for 3 years, do video, do video, do video. Let me get ready to do video. Well, that's all.
Now you're ready. Now you're ready. You're forced to do it, basically. Yeah.
I mean,
by the reality. So that's amazing. And I think this people should use this opportunity right now. This crisis that we have as an opportunity to adopt and to shift to a new model of doing business. Because after we get out of this quarantine, I think real estate is going to be different. The way we do business is going to be different. Commercial real estate is going to be way different, as far as nobody going to really need offices. So that's all going to change. And I'm actually excited to see those changes, because this is going to be something new. And people who are open-minded, who are open to changes, will be able to thrive, I think. And the agents who are willing to embrace the new reality and keep going at it, instead of clinging to the past way of doing business, then those agents will be able to be successful.
That's true. It is mindset. I like that you said that too. I'm really excited about the future too. And if I stop and just let myself think for a minute of fear, it is consuming. The fear can be consuming, because there is a lot of unknowns.
It's horrible.
But here's the reality. I'm in control of what's right here. The only person that can control this is me, in which case I'm only choosing to see the positive in all of this. Yes, there's a lot of devastating stuff out there. People are really sick. Things are really bad. But here's the reality. When it comes to business, there is always going to be a need for real estate, for relationships. How about we go, there's always a need for relationships. And where there's a need for relationships, I can help people better than a robot or somebody else. Because even though we're on Zoom, I can still build a relationship with you.
Of course.
People now more than ever need that. We are confined to our homes. We are starving for human connection. Now you're going to tell me that you're going to take away realtors and I'm going to have to work with a robot? No, more than ever, I want to work with a real person. So just think of it that way. Just think about how much you need to just interact with people. Other people feel that same way.
And when you actually manifest fear, even though it's in your head, but you manifest it. When you manifest it, when you're trying to contact with potential clients, they're gonna feel it. They're gonna feel it that you have fear, so it's gonna transpire to them magically. That's just the way it happens. So get this out of your head. Number one, just period. Get it out of your head. Don't even think about it, and keep executing. And once you actually connect with your sphere, connect with your potential customers, your clients, once they're scared as well right now. And when they turn to you and they see that you're scared, guess what's going to happen? That's going to be two heads in the very dark place. So at least one head is in the light place, and you can take that one, pull the other one out. So
exactly. If you can go out there and brighten somebody's day, honestly, we are finding prospecting so much easier than it was previously, because people just want to talk. They just want to hear another human's voice. So, versus what we were experiencing 6 weeks ago, which, was a much different tone. Now we're getting kinder, softer, gentler. Maybe they're not ready, but they're great conversations, and we're top of mind.
Exactly. You can build a rapport. That's the opportunity to build a rapport with those people and to reconnect with the old leads that you had, Mm-hmm. Well, Misty, thank you very much. You've been really helpful and really encouraging to folks. And, I hope that we'll be done with this, but this is a new reality, and let's embrace it and let's ride it out, Yeah,
I agree. Yeah. If I can help anybody, honestly, I've got a lot of extra time on my hands these days. So if anybody wants to reach out to me, I am definitely sharing a lot of positivity in the world of real estate, where a lot of people don't have, the light right now. So
yeah. Reach out to Misty. Exactly. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Misty.
Thank you. Awesome. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. You have a good one.
Okay. You too.
Bye-bye.